Okay, when you are completing the text structure worksheet that was assigned, be careful of the compare and contrast passage. So I'm going to kind of walk you through this one. For the passage name, you put chemical and physical changes. And then for the topic, you'll put chemical and physical. In the main box. And then as you read, I suggest you make a list of what's similar and different between the two. So I'll read it aloud here. All matter, all things can be changed in two ways, chemically and physically. So it said all matter, all things can be changed in two ways. So I would put that as one of my similarities. So it can be changed two ways. Okay. The next thing that I would do is both chemical and physical changes affect the state of matter. And it says both. So I would think, both would probably mean similar. So I would put affect state of matter. So right now I have two things in my similar column. If I continue reading, it says physical changes. So that makes me think this only applies to one of them. So I'm going to keep reading. Physical changes are those that do not change the makeup or identity of the matter. So that's only physical. So that would probably be a difference then. So I'm going to put physical, and you can abbreviate phys, don't change identity. Okay, I will continue reading. For example, clay will bend or flatten if squeezed, but it will not still be clay. So they give you an example. Then, changing the shape of clay is a physical change and does not change the matter's identity. So again, they're just still making their point here. Then it goes on to say chemical changes. So that's just one of them. So I know this is going to be about one of the two types. So chemical changes turn the matter into a new kind of matter with different properties. So that only applies to chemical, so that's probably a difference. Plus it's different than what I have written down for physical. So chemical, I'm going to put down new, changes it into a new kind of matter. All right, if I keep reading, for example, when paper is burnt, it becomes ash and will never be paper again. They're just giving me an example of what they had just written about. It doesn't mean that it's a difference or a similarity. It's just another example. The difference between them is that, so then they just state the difference between them, so we know we have another difference coming up here. The difference between them is that physical changes are temporary or only last for a little while, and chemical changes are permanent, which means they last forever. So another difference is physical are temporary and chemical are permanent. All right, and then I continue to read. Physical and chemical changes both affect the state of matter. And this says both affect the state of matter. So, and we have that already, so we don't need to write it again. So they restated that from the beginning of the passage. So be careful of compare and contrast. It's easy to get caught up in the examples, like the burnt paper and the clay, but those were just examples of the differences between the two types of changes described.